Hello and welcome back to this European Schoolnet Academy Games in Schools course. This is Module 6 when we're talking about why is it important to teach about games. And in this short video we're going to be talking about games. The whole reason this video came about is because of a lesson that I observed a number of years ago. It was a primary school lesson where there was a really good teacher who was going around the class on a Monday morning asking the children what they got up to at the weekend as part of a normal Monday morning routine. I'll never forget the conversation because she spoke to two girls that sat next to each other. One of the girls had been to the cinema at the weekend and had watched a movie, and the teacher asked some closed questions like what was the name of the film, and also some open questions like what was the movie about, what did you enjoy about the movie, or who was your favourite character, were you scared, did it make you laugh, would you go to see it again, will there be a sequel, all kinds of wonderful descriptive questions. And then she spoke to the other little girl. Interestingly, the other girl had been to the zoo, Edinburgh Zoo actually, on the Saturday morning, and in the afternoon she said that she was playing a game on her Xbox. The teacher did ask the name of the game, but didn't ask any of the other open-ended questions that she'd asked the other girl about the movie. And of course, she could have asked exactly the same questions and just replaced the word movie for game. What I've observed over the years is that quite often adults don't feel confident talking about games. And if they don't feel confident about talking about games, it's really difficult to understand what children are doing online when it comes to gameplay. And this makes it even more difficult if a child comes in contact with something which they feel uncomfortable about because they themselves feel unable to talk about it. So, one of the most important things that we can do is making sure that we're having conversations and talking with young people about games, what they like, what they dislike, if they're scared, if it makes them laugh, to help us understand their world a little bit more. There's lots of things all over the news about games. Game addiction and screen time are two popular topics. The evidence is both ways, of course, all these things. Sometimes people think that game addiction is a problem, sometimes they don't. Sometimes people think screen time is a problem, sometimes they don't. My view on this is a fairly simple one. I believe that too much of anything can be addictive and too much of anything can actually be bad for you. I also believe that the whole debate about screen time is really unfair because it's not just about time in front of a screen, it's about what you're doing with the screen. For example, at work, I spend most of my day in front of a screen, but hopefully people think I'm fairly productive. We should also probably tackle the question of if video games actually make young people violent or more violent. This was an issue that was raised in this recent UNICEF paper. We'll make sure that we put a link to the paper in the online games course folder. A considerable body of research into children and gaming has focused on violent content and its potential to affect children's behaviour offline. To be honest, it remains a controversial topic, and much of the evidence has been inconsistent and also methodologically flawed. Some studies have found evidence that violent video games are associated with more violent thoughts and behaviours, while others find no such association at all. Generally speaking, when the effects are found, they tend to be small, suggesting that other factors, such as children's exposure to violence at home, in school, in the community, and experiences of negativity or interpersonal violence may also be more important drivers. It's also really important that adults understand that when we talk about games consoles, when we talk about mobile phones, these are no longer just games consoles or no longer just mobile phones. They include video, they include social networks, internet messaging, payment systems, and of course web browsers. So anything that we would normally do as part of our internet safety and responsible use agenda also needs to be applied to anything that we would do with games, in particular online games. Of course, a number of people would argue that most games now are online, so actually they are just a form of using the internet. One resource that we really wanted to flag up as part of this course is a resource called Better Internet for Kids. There's lots of great content on here, but one of them is a search engine where you can actually type in resources, for example, for games, and you can also select things like language preferences and also the age range of the children. Click submit, and it will return you a number of resources which you may find useful. This isn't just for games, by the way. This is to do with anything that you might do online. But remember, games and the internet quite often now are combined. So, what do we want you to do? Well, we've got to the end now of the games course, so now the hard work really starts. Hopefully some of the tasks and some of the Padlet activities that we've been getting you to do in the last few weeks will put you in good stead for the final activity. For the final activity, what you have to do is you have to prepare a lesson plan. This is a lesson plan of something you either plan to do, It's a lesson plan after all, or something that perhaps you've done in the classroom and already reflected on. What you'll then do is you'll submit this lesson plan and it will be peer reviewed by one of the other people that are taking part in games course. After the successful peer review, then what we'll do is we'll reward you with a digital badge and a certificate to recognise your achievement. There's loads more information about the final course assessment on the online forum, so go through it there and don't forget to ask any questions if you're unsure what to do. If you've got this far, we really hope that you do the online assessment because we've thoroughly enjoyed having you in the course, and in particular, we've thoroughly enjoyed all of the work that you've done on the Padlet activities and all of the discussions that have been going on the forum, Twitter, Facebook, using the hashtag GamesCourse. Good luck with the final assignment and look forward to seeing you online and in the chat rooms to support you through the last little part of the course. Thanks again.